look, somebody left their toy puffin here.
Oh.
Isn't that cute?
We left by a child.
Yeah. Wish I can go and see some puffins.
Yeah, there's none round where we is though.
No, a bit of a drive, but you've got Bempton Cliff, Skoma and Skokholm. I'd love to go to Skokholm.
Did you go where? Skokholm?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't tell you this, but I've been on the internet again.
Again?
Again. I've been on the internet again, and I bought something.
What the hell is that?
Not what you're thinking. This will take you anywhere that you desire. Anywhere that you desire.
Yeah, right.
It is, seriously. It's called Insta Voyage, because
Okay.
driving is so last century. So, one swig of this, and anywhere that I'm thinking of right now is where we're going to go to.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I don't want any. Oh, the hell's in that?
Oh, it was funny. Oh. What the hell's in that drink?
Where the hell are we? What have you done?
Look out the window.
Puffins.
With that, a road trip was born. We booked ourselves onto Skokholm Island, the lesser known out of the two islands directly underneath Skoma. We decided this was going to be a huge photography trip for us. We wanted a place where we could get up close and personal to the puffins. We definitely managed that, as you'll see later on in the video. With that, we packed our food, our clothes into the boot of the car and chucked our camera equipment behind us. Look at him with his concentration tongue sticking out. And you join us here on the Prince of Wales Bridge. From a slightly cloudy England, yeah, it's not going to rain. It'll be alright. We're going to Wales, it never rains. Oh no. Oh, I remember now. No, it always rains in Wales. Now this whole trip could actually be a waste of time. Let me explain. We've only booked the B&B for one night because we are leaving to go to Skokholm tomorrow morning. Now there is an incoming storm. The skipper decides not to sail because of the swell, then we will not be leaving and we'll be left with nowhere to stay. We are absolutely hoping and praying that the weather system was not going to turn against us and be able to get across the island as planned. Luckily, as we're heading towards the beautiful Welsh mountains, we got the call we were waiting for.
10:30 tomorrow, we are crossing. Yeah, it's fine, we made arrangements in case we can't get back. Brilliant, thank you. Look forward to seeing you. Bye.
So we're crossing? So we'll take it by that dance, we're definitely crossing. Yes.
Might not be back till Wednesday though, because Monday, Tuesday's not looking good.
Oh.
For return.
Okay. So a longer holiday than we anticipated then. Even better. Cool.
Serious note, I might have to think about going to shops and stock up a bit more extra food. Because I didn't do enough for 2 extra days.
No, we didn't, did we?
Okay.
That's good. So we can cross. Yes. So after receiving that quite welcoming phone call, we decided to stop at a local supermarket and made our way straight to the B&B. So as the first leg of our 5-hour journey from Surrey into Wales ended, the beautiful Foxdale B&B came into view. As I walked into the very well lit room, I was pleasantly surprised to see a queen size bed, just what I needed tonight to be able to stretch out. Being 6'3", I need all the room possible. Well stacked coffee and tea machine in the corner. The beautiful well lit spacious room gave us plenty of space to be able to get ourselves ready. The toilet and the shower absolutely spotless. In fact, the whole accommodation is. If you're planning a night before going to Skoma or Skokholm, I'd recommend here. Right, I'm going to go and explore. Let's go and have a look at the breakfast room, see where we're going to be sitting tomorrow morning. So I'll take it in numbers then. I'll take it in numbers for the tables in, and obviously room numbers in. So that one's ours, number 5.
The puffins.
Puffins. So at this stage, Kate's wandered off somewhere. Bet she's thinking about food, so we can find her. And Kate's down there doing nothing as usual.
I think about walking to the pub actually.
Oh yeah.
It's only a 7-minute walk.
Walk down the pub if you want.
Yeah, might do.
Pub it is then. Cool. We wandered right out of the B&B. A few minutes later, we're at the front door of the Lobster Pot, currently under new management. As we were waiting for our food to come out, I'm a bit of a sucker for a checklist. At that point, we thought it was a good idea while we were waiting just to check everything all off. Our food coming out was a very welcome distraction. I have to say, we were a little bit both apprehensive about a possibly wet crossing tomorrow morning. Fingers crossed it's not. Next morning, got up, showered, ready to leave, and we were greeted with a beautiful breakfast. Just the fuel we need to get us across to the island. Small plug while we're here, thank you so much to the owners of Foxdale. You truly made us feel like we are family members. I couldn't have asked for more. From beautiful, spacious, tidy rooms to amazing breakfast. If you're going to Skokholm or going to Skoma, this is the place to stay. Thank you, Julie and Gwen, for making us feel so welcome. The next morning we jumped into the car, waved goodbye to the B&B and drove 7 minutes down towards Martin's Haven and parked up at the top of the dock. This road can be incredibly busy, so be careful. This is a collection point for both islands. Skoma itself can actually have 250 people visiting a day, so this area can get intensely busy at certain times. Also, your luggage cannot be left unattended. If a rat was to get possibly into your luggage, it could be hugely detrimental to either island. So with a quick wave to Katie, I was on my way to the West Hook Farm parking area. The farm is actually only a 3-minute drive, but actually closer to a 10-minute walk back, so be prepared for that. West Hook Farm is the best place to park your car, and the most legal as well. National Trust do not allow any overnight parking at any of their car parks. This is a full gated enclosure with people living actually on site. You couldn't ask for more for the money you pay. Just a side note and something else for you to think about planning. If you are thinking about going to either island and staying overnight or longer, West Hook Farm does need advance booking. But for the money you pay for a gated enclosure, it's definitely worth it. Just walking back from the car parking space behind me where the black barn is there. It didn't actually dawn on me actually how close we are actually to the islands themselves. Skoma is over there. A tiny plot of land just over there. That's going to be our home for the next 3 days.
And that's my friend to carry down. Oh. That's right.
If you're thinking this path looks incredibly tight to carry a load of luggage down, you're absolutely right. It's also quite slippery at times as well. But here we are, we're on the boat now. So this I get lots of questions about. How does the chain work? Well, you're about to find out. The chain is basically a human chain. People that are already on the island stay on the dock. People that are already on the boat stay on the boat. As people are on the boat, they pass their stuff to the people on the island, who take it very carefully and stack it to one side. Once this process is completed, it's just reverse of that. People that have been on the island now pass their stuff down to the people that are on the boat, who carefully stack it onto the boat. If you don't want to be part of this chain, no problem. There's no pressure on you to be able to lift heavy bags and move things about if you don't want to. Just say that you're not going to. What we actually did, we actually kept our camera bags to one side because I don't want people manhandling my camera equipment. That's absolutely fine if you want to do that as well. Once that process is completed, the people now on the boat now get off the boat, the people that are on the island now get onto the boat. Simple. See, all that worrying for nothing? The chain works. It's very efficient, it just works.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys, see you soon.
Right, yeah, no
Thank
worries,
you.
cheers.
Okay,
Thank you.
All right.
As you can see, this is the back of the dump truck where all the bags that were on the boat have now been stacked safely. We thought it'd be a good idea to stick our camera bags on there as well because they're fairly heavy. That's what I thought. Exactly the same. The landing dock is just round the corner from St Peter's Bay. It's only a small uphill walk towards the accommodation. This is made somewhat easier with a dump truck taking your bags. you join us on our way.
Food can go over to the wheelhouse, which is that bigger building underneath.
It is one basket per fridge in the bed, one basket for each bedroom. So with the fridge, which is this one, it is door up, basket out, door shut, so it stays cold.
Once we'd listened to the do's and don'ts of the kitchen, we thought it'd be a good idea to get our food into the fridge and freezers. Katie had made some pre-prepared food in our tinfoil wraps. This is a really good idea because there's no prep needed. You don't get anybody else's way when the kitchen does get busy.
And here is the pantry.
We've just been told we'll be staying in port room, so as you can see this would be our shelf. This system works really well. As you can see, there's other people that are already on the island, have got their shelves loaded already. Just a side note, Skokholm actually has a shop, Skokholm doesn't. So if the wind conditions get really bad and the boat can't sail, you have got food provisions here if you run out. The shop does cater for most palates. I actually had a bit of a penchant for the ginger biscuits, but it does have tin curry, pasta, etc. There's enough there to get you by if you are short of food, or to mix with some other stuff that you've got and you brought with you. Just chuck the money in the tin once you paid for it, or start yourself up a tab. Just make sure you pay your bill before you leave. So I did say to Kate, can you wander into that toilet across the road and go and film that beautiful stained glass window? And this is what she gave me. Anyway, she wasn't using the toilet, but this stained glass window, wow, absolutely beautiful. Best place on the island, well, you know, to do your business. It was too good not to add it. It really was.
I'll take that.
Right, that's the kitchen all sorted. Food where it should be. Now to go and take our bags to our accommodation, to our room. Just like to point out here, Katie is carrying 3 bags, and so am I, so no whinging in the comments. As we walked up towards our room, we did wonder what we were actually going to face when we opened the door. There was hardly any photos online. Well, here we are, we're at the room now. I was pleasantly surprised. Well lit, clean, plenty of space for us to move about during our stay on the island. Right, let's dump our bags and go for an explore. We decided to head back down towards the dock past this big red shed. On the way down here we did spot some metal sheets on the floor. I knew exactly what these were when we saw them. Underneath these are slow worms. Carefully pick them up, put them back down again, give them a count.
See if we've got any under here.
Got some here.
Loads of babies there as well.
The slow worm is neither a worm or a snake, but in fact it's a legless lizard. The identity is given away to the abilities to be able to shed a tail and blink its eyelids.
And each one of these, you put them down like super carefully so you don't crush them. Each one's usually got something underneath it. I think there's a few exceptions. See if this one has as well. No, there's nothing under that one. Okay. Got one more to go. And nothing under that one. So how many is that in total? 15. So 15 over these sections of metal. So yeah, definitely something to entertain yourself with when you go down towards the hide. Right, this is one of the many hides that are around the island. I think it's one of about 9. This one points out towards where we've actually got the dock on the left hand side. So this is yeah, it's quite a nice place for the puffins when they come back in from the sea. It looks quite dark in there. I don't know what you're seeing on the GoPro, but you should see quite a bit of light. The door's literally behind you. It's only literally a very small shed. I mean, I can just stretch and I've got my back on the wall. Enough room for 2 people, 3 if you're really small. Got quite big shoulders and a big bag. 2 would be good, 1's even better. Kate's sitting outside in the rain, weirdo. I'm sitting in here. Basically there's flaps all around you. So there's 1 right next door to you now, and there's 2 here. So this one points out to sea, and basically all they are is, you basically lift the door and you can see literally straight outside. So it's perfect for looking out towards the sea and looking out down towards the landmass as well. So it's yeah, and you've got 1 each side, so you can get a really good shot from side to side. So yeah, it's a good little place to be. This is one of probably the better views that I think have got more puffins on it, and you've got a nice wide angle. It's not so bad. I will take you later on down to Crab Bay. Crab Bay is absolutely amazing. It's like a big VIP sort of bird watching shed, really, and it's not really a shed, it's almost like a stone building. It is a stone building, I think, but it's got proper glass windows and proper flippy up windows as well. Really is VIP. In here it's quite cold, but you know what, you're not getting the blustery wind, you're not getting any rain coming in. You can have your camera sitting here with a tripod and just firing out to sea. The seals were down in the sea this morning, and they've been out yesterday as well. We've actually spotted 6 down in the bay at Crab Bay. So so yeah, it's interesting, very, very interesting, finding little tiny bits and pieces around the area and finding sweet spots of where you need to be.
After all the drama and the misses, I actually got some really good shots. If you are over on Instagram and you like the photos you can see here, come and give us a like, we can follow you back. Right, we've been here long enough. We've decided now to move away from the dock and the bird hide and head to a different location. I think it's time to pop down and show you guys Crab Bay. You join us on our way. As you walk down the bank and the path down to the bird hide, you will see these red stones. These red stones are flanked either side of the path, so you don't wander off and collapse one of the puffins' burrows. Please stick to the path on the way down. Also, as you walk down, there is a no stopping policy. Take your time by all means, but please don't stop. The reason this is here is because the puffins can still get backs and forwards their burrows without hordes of photographers blocking their route. Also, it means as well, if there are people blocking the path, you have to go into the red route to get round them. Obviously, you're not supposed to be on the red route. So yeah, leave this path open and abide by that law, just for a greater good of everybody, to be honest. Once you're safely inside the hide, the possibilities for flying shots with the puffins are absolutely endless, but so rewarding. Here are just 2 of the amazing photos Katie took from this hide. To see more, come and follow her on Instagram.
You'll be surprised actually how close the puffins are coming. Look at this.
Atlantic puffins form monogamous bonds. They often return to the same burrow with the same mate every year. To attract a female, males flick their heads and grunt like a pig near their nesting burrow. In mating and courtship, the puffins will pair up before they come onto the island from the ocean. Once they are on land, they pair and they perform billing. This is where they rub their beaks together, which you can see here. This display usually draws a crowd to the puffins as they share in the excitement. At the ages between 4 and 6, pairs of puffins often become mates for life. finding each other at breeding colony year after year. Tapping the beaks is almost like old friends catching up. Think of it a bit like kissing. From 1324 for over 200 years, Skokholm was a rabbit farm like many of the islands. This has made it incredibly easy for the Atlantic puffins as they use a network of rabbit warrens that already exist on the island. If there are no holes available, they will dig a shallow hole or burrow into the ground with their bill and their feet. Both sexes share the task, where the male typically does more digging than the female. After cleaning up their burrows, many puffins line their nest chamber with grass, twigs and feathers. The slightly enlarged nest chamber where the egg is laid is usually placed at the end of the burrow. Sticks and twigs are rare on Skokholm because there's no trees. Most of the puffins we saw were using champion flower that comes out between May and June. It's not always peace and harmony with these clown-faced birds. Intruding males that get a bit too close to nesting burrows are often met with ruffled feathers and an open bill. Occasionally a fight ensues with clawing and grappling. As soon as the fight is over, authority is regained. The two male puffins go in their different directions, but the winner truly is the one that's got the female and the burrow. Katie also has an Instagram account. Why don't you come and give her a follow if you like the photos you can see here. With so many birds currently inland and flying back and forwards from the sea, it's a really difficult task trying to target just one bird for some really good photography. Katie took the sitting down approach, which actually I think is probably slightly easier so you can target a group of birds. I had a slightly different approach. I just want to try and get the birds flying away or towards me and just get them in flight really rather than sitting on the ground. I think I pulled off some really good shots here. Also, I spotted this little guy. I think he's trying to vlog. I think he's trying to take my job. We decided to spend the rest of the afternoon just cameras down, just chilling out with the puffins. It's a very rare opportunity to do this, so we made the most of it. We had been told later on that evening there was going to be a Manx Shearwater walk. This is an unforgettable experience. You join us at the start of the walk, we're having our team brief. Oh, and the noises you can hear in the background in a sec are actually Manx Shearwaters. Beautiful sound.
Right, what we'll do in terms of the site we do is we'll do what's called the Manx Shearwater Transect. So from here we basically walk to the lighthouse and back, picking up all the shearwaters we can reach from the path. Let's say 50% will be ringed on average. Sometimes it's 30%, sometimes it's more or less. If anybody Ellen and Emmanuel will take the lead, because obviously they'll pick up birds as we go along, so don't get ahead of them. If anybody at any point wants to come home and go to bed, well, come home, might not want to go to bed, but come back, then just let me know, just purely on safety grounds, so I know that I'm not at some point found I'm missing somebody. Quite clearly, if for some reason the weather or something changes, whatever, the 3 stacks down there, which is the refinery lights, are the way the observatory is, and the flashing lighthouse is the opposite end of the island. Clearly you want to be this way, not that way. That it really. Right, Manx shorters, we'll talk a bit about them as we go along. We'll get this bird, we'll get going, so to speak. This is obviously a bird that's been ringed already. When I hear the ring number, I don't mean I can tell you a bit about the bird, but I can roughly tell you its age. If we have time, I'll actually look up any numbers that start EY or EZ. I might look actually on the online at the full bird history while we've got it.
This is EY
6, 8.
9.
This is a Manx shearwater. A couple of key things about them. They are a very powerful creature that bites and scratches like mad. They live on the water most of the time. You can see how two-dimensional that leg is. See how thin it is?
Yep.
Yes. So when we put the ring on, we do what's called D. We actually make the ring. The ring isn't round. It'll go up and down its leg fine, but the ring is shaped for its leg. You can also see it as a webbed feet. So there, it's like an oar, a paddle. It's thin going that way through the water, and as it wants to paddle, it can use its fin. You'll see how far the legs are back on its body. Totally wrongly designed for walking on land, which basically means they can't. So they're brilliant flying machines, brilliant paddling machines, but walking on land, they're an absolute disaster. Okay? But they can, when they're young, they can climb up cliffs, they can climb up rocks to take off and everything, and they are, they'll scratch like that. Beak, they'll eat small squid and various things in the sea. They dive under the first couple of feet in the sea for their food. Obviously these birds are used to, although we deal with them in the dark and think, oh, they're used to the dark and stuff, of course these things spend most of their life sitting on the sea, and most of the time they're wintering south of the equator off Brazil, Argentina, in some of the brightest seas imaginable. So they're used to all sorts of light. Incredibly long wings for the size of the bird, and they're going to weigh about 400, I think they weigh about 300 grams. But that's
what predates on them as they're coming in overnight.
nothing particularly is coming overnight. The greater blackstone will dig them out of the burrows or grab them on the sea.
Overnight or only in daylight?
Probably in both, but produce as much as daylight. Any work we do at night, obviously every bird we handle either has a ring on before we pick it up, or we put a ring on it.
Yeah.
These are incredibly rare for us to find dead in the morning. So this exercise we're doing and these birds out at night aren't the birds we're going to go for. The gulls are sitting there asleep on their nests at the moment. It's at other times of the day that they go around doing the damage. Right, good. Right.
We eventually rolled back into bed about 1 o'clock. Apparently there was a bit of a disturbance last night. I didn't hear anything. Yeah, don't know what that was about. Anyway, weather's going to be good today. Time for some more exploring. Somewhere there's a kettle boiling. One thing I do love about waking up on the island is silence. No cars, just birds. Oh, it's so nice. And if you're all thinking, wow, that door's low, I am 6'3" to be fair. It's probably one of the first times I walked through it and not bang my head on it. Don't believe me? I'll show you an outtake from my B-roll. Yes, it's all very funny, yes. Okay, right, when you stopped laughing, now you know what I had to go through to get this following clip.
Okay.
At this point, I nipped away from my coffee because I wanted to show you guys the inside of Lockleys Lodge. Beautiful building, could suit anywhere in the UK, but looks so good on the island.
And this is where everybody comes at night time and catches up what birds have been seen and talk more at the end of the night, a bit of a debrief, a log fire. So when you do come, you'll be asked to bring logs with you, and they're eco logs. Basically these things here, basically eco bricks. They go into the fire, long burning ones, so they last a long time. But people have got their rooms. I've just checked to make sure nobody's in here. But people have got their bedrooms and everything all off of this as well. But a nice view out to sea. But yeah, this is quite a nice area, especially in the evenings if you're cold. This is the place to come.
After a brief chat over coffee, we thought we were going to divide and conquer over the island. Kate was going to go one way, I was going to go the other, and then we're going to meet up for lunch.
I've never seen a better place to have a spot of lunch. Check this out.
Did manage to catch these two beautiful oyster catchers just on the tip of Skokholm in the background. Also managed to catch these four a bit later on. Right, time to go and catch up with our warden Richard.
Right, we just caught up with Richard on the island. Thank you for taking your time out. I know you're incredibly busy. Most people want to win the lottery and buy a little island for themselves and live on it. And here you are now living the dream. How long have you been here for?
12 years.
12 years.
Living the dream, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Why is this island so important, and what was your draw to come here and be such a big part of it?
Well, it's an internationally important seabird colony.
Right.
So it's the densest Manx shearwater colony in the world, about 89,000 pairs of Manx shearwaters.
Right.
So that's also the third largest colony in the world. And between here and Skokholm, we're just over there, you've got half the world's Manx shearwaters. So critically important that we look after them, maintain a predator-free status, so that make sure there's no invasive, particularly rodents, coming out onto the island. So making sure when you guys come to visit that you take all the correct precautions, and when you land that there's no chance we're going to introduce anything onto the island that could impact the birds. And then make sure when you're here that you stick to the paths, make sure we're not going to do them any damage, and yeah, just head out. But also that we're here to educate you.
Yeah, which you have done. Yeah, we've been really happy here. We've had no issues, no problems apart from the cold, but that's nothing you can help with. And the rain, again, that's nothing you can help with. It's sunny today. We love it today. I absolutely love it here, and we are intending to come back and do some stuff further down the line, especially when the puffins have got the sand eels coming backs and forwards as well.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing. And then to top it all off, I don't know if we're allowed to say or not, you live in the lighthouse.
Yeah,
you are
can say that.
doubly living the dream.
We're very lucky.
Very lucky
yeah,
here.
Yeah, get to live in the lighthouse, and we're surrounded by storm petrels up there, as you saw last night.
You saw last night, yeah,
just
brilliant
the very
walk.
start of the season, but 2,500 pairs of storm petrels. That's more than the rest of Wales and England combined. And
Yep.
they just they nest.
Yeah,
Hopefully soon
on the
in the
wall
wall
behind us.
Yeah,
so what is
in the
this?
walls.
What is this wall? Because obviously we know what it is, but what is this? This is the
So
front half.
This is the petrol station 2.
Okay, because petrol station 1 you'll be seeing footage of in a second right now.
Yeah.
So this is petrol station 2 that you've built now.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is. Have we had any luck with this so far? As far as
we
you
only
know.
just finished it this spring.
Okay,
so
cool.
The birds are only just coming back.
Cool.
So no.
Okay.
But the original petrol station's been used for 6 years now.
Right.
And used more every year. And yeah, as you saw last night,
Yeah,
2 birds
two
back
boxes.
in the boxes that have fledged chicks for the last 5 years. And the number of birds doing that is going up every year. So the idea here is to build one closer to the accommodation where we've got power from the solar, so we can run cameras all the time.
Yeah, cool.
Maybe stick it on YouTube or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas
Definitely.
Down the bottom, as you saw last night, we've got to carry everything in, got to carry all the batteries in.
But do you know what? That was an experience. That was an experience. I never thought we would be able to have that experience and have that there. And the way you took us down there, and the way you educated us, that's something you could never buy in a book. That's something that's beautiful, and we love that. And I expect anybody to come here when you're doing that kind of trip, definitely go on it, definitely try and see it, because the noises you hear at night time, it's quite quiet here. You hear the occasional gull and bits and pieces, but this island comes alive at night time.
It does sometimes, so you can't just do one trip to Skokholm.
No.
So if you come when the weather's rubbish and it's really dark on a night, you will have the best shearwater experience you can get. So, you're saying that it's hard in the rain, but actually that means that you saw something you won't see if it's a moonlit night or if the weather's nice.
Absolutely. So, and that same goes with the Crab Bay with the puffins as well. The puffins, when it's nice weather, they're all floating out in their rafts out at sea, and that's absolutely fine. When it's really bad weather, or when it's rainy weather and it's typical England kind of weather, we see them all come back in. And it was like, what was the count last night? Like 900 on land last night, just at Crab Bay, which is phenomenal.
Unfortunately, at that point, had to cut the interview short. Richard's radio went off and he was called away for duty somewhere else on the island. Thank you for Richard for giving me that short interview. It gives you a bit more of an insight of really what goes on in the island that you don't see every day from people that visit. At this point, we thought we would turn back to the library, go through our footage and get ready for the next day. Now, the next day was somewhat different.
That'd be hailstones then. Right.
The interesting thing about waking up on the island, apart from it being quiet, is you really don't know what the weather's going to be from literally 1 minute to the next. I woke up this morning thinking the weather's going to be absolutely fine, and look at it. But you know what? It gives a bit more character to some of the photos, as you'll see later. But you know what? If it is hailstoning, I don't really care. It adds a lot of beauty to the island, and it's just being somewhere different. It's not a problem for us. I mean, it can't get worse, can it?
You alright? Bloody hailstones.
I've got in just in time.
You got me coffee?
We waited for the hailstorm to move off the island. Thought we'd go and explore the top half of the island, the bit you haven't seen yet up towards the lighthouse. Remember what I said earlier on about things getting worse? Yeah, it got worse. Not so wet, but wow, was it windy. Didn't seem to bother the puffins though. I think they actually quite enjoyed it. They don't have to go out to sea to have a wash, they can stay on land. You know, I said earlier on that the rain gives really good photos. Look at this. Also managed to get this amazing symmetrical shot with this puffin going over the top peaks of the rock. I couldn't believe I even caught the shot. Absolutely beautiful. We decided at this point just to retreat and go and get something warm and then take stock of what we're going to do next. Looks like everybody else had exactly the same idea. Weather was quite bad. It's better just to stay inside and catch up with the stories what everybody else has got during the day. At this point here, the weather was getting no better. We decided just to retreat back to the fire and just relax really and just recharge. I wanted somewhere a little bit more quiet. I decided to hunt out the library. I'll come and show you guys around. Yeah, it's basically a library. So it's a nice place to come relax and just chill out away from everybody. Not many people coming here apart from using charging equipment. And on that note, a lot of people ask about charging equipment. You get quite a few plugs. The multi-plugs like this are cool because you can get multiple plugs into one plug, if that makes sense, especially if they're USB based. People charging their phones bits and pieces. I'm currently charging my power pack there as well. And there's another set of charging ports and whole charging station over here as well. So yeah, you've got plenty of power. And the power is based on, obviously on solar as well. So you go out here. You can see that was a library. Here's a solar panel. So it heavily relies on us obviously getting sun. And today, he's not looking like sun. Maybe a little bit over there, but it's pretty wet. You can't do the confused face? Okay.
You looked in the mirror.
Me? No. Show me. Show me.
Can't see you because it's too dark.
Too dark?
Yes.
Well, that's not very good, is it?
No.
You'll stand over here then.
There you are. Pretty.
No, I don't see what the problem is. I'm crusty a clown with bad eyesight. At this point, I thought it's best to go and get changed out of my wet clothes and finish annoying everybody. Skokholm actually has quite an informative library, loads of books here, lots of them on Lockley. So who was Lockley? Ronald Lockley was a conservationist and an island dweller who was born in Whitchurch, Cardiff on the 8th of November 1903. This is where his mother ran a local boarding school. At weekends and during very long school holidays, he delighted in living rough in the woods close to Whitchurch, alongside the old canal. Ronald Lockley moved to Skokholm in 1926 with a 21-year lease, although he left during World War II when the island was commandeered for military use. On the time that Lockley was on the island, his restoration project for the farm buildings got a major boost when the schooner Alice Williams wrecked on the rocks on the 24th of September 1928. The crew abandoned ship just off the coast as it started to take on water. It was washed ashore on Skokholm. Lockley needed the timbers and fuel for the renovation project. He bought the wreck for £5, salvaged the materials over 10 days before it broke up entirely on the sea. £5 was an absolute bargain, considering the amount of wood he got from the wreck. Also, he got 2 years' worth of fuel to keep him going on the island in the form of coal. Lockley also placed the figurehead of the Alice Williams overlooking South Haven to greet visitors as they come onto the island. When people see the landing jetty, they think this is the original figurehead that's on the island right now. It's not. It's actually a replica. The original is kept indoors for its own protection. The ship's wheel, figurehead and transform, which is a bit at the back of the boat with a name on, is displayed in the wheelhouse, which is a large room of one of the farm buildings where visitors gather to eat their meals. The ship's cabin staircase stands proudly in the main house that Lockley used to live in himself. If ever you go to the bird log in the evening at 9 o'clock, you will see it stands right next to the fire on the left hand side. Initially alone, but later joined by his wife Doris and his daughter Anne, Lockley really was living the dream on the island. He established the UK's first bird observatory in 1933, detailed in books A Dream Island 1930 and Island Days 1934. Albeit a small island some 4 kilometres, about 2.5 miles, off the western tip of Pembrokeshire, which is inhabited only by rabbits and seabirds, Lockley's attempts to make a living from catching and selling rabbits and breeding chinchilla rabbits were abandoned when he soon found he could make a better living writing articles. He wrote over 50 books. His most famous book was The Private Life of a Rabbit, which was published in 1964. Richard Adams was a friend of Ronald Lockley. Lockley's 1964 book, The Private Life of a Rabbit, inspired, can you guess? Yes, Watership Down. Adams later introduced Lockley as a character in his 1977 novel Plague Dogs. Lockley did return to what he called home in 1990 at the grand old age of 86 years old. Sadly, 10 years later, on the 12th of April 2000, he passed away back in his new home in Auckland. His ashes were scattered near Skokholm a short while after by the Dell Princess. And just like that, our final day on Skokholm was over. We were greeted that night with a beautiful sunset setting down over the sea. Couldn't have asked for more for our last night. Some people hate island life, some people love island life. Depends how you take it and depends what you make of it while you're here. Like on all of our trips, we always have a laugh, we always have some fun. We share some amazing experiences together and some beautiful memories. We all seem to find ourselves in some quite severe and really random weather patterns. But when it all comes down to it, there's nothing better than sitting on that cliff with my wife looking across at the view. And taking amazing pictures. Birds that I'd never think I'd be able to see in my lifetime. Definitely a bucket list moment. And I bet you're all thinking, this is a little bit too good to be true. It's not. This is all within your reach as well. Yes, you sitting watching this video. Don't hide away and think this isn't possible. Out of your reach, it's not. Book one of these island experiences, you will never ever forget it. If you are going to Skokholm and wonder what kit we used, or interested in what kit you should be taking, watch this video here.